Alright, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We're back again with another YouTube video. So today we have another face cam video because I'm just far too lazy to actually record any gameplay. But I do want to talk about something that really irritated me on Twitter. I know, right? Crazy, getting irritated on Twitter. It's such a new thing. But this one user, this one Twitter account, actually blatantly spread so much misinformation for literally no reason. In times like this, I like to play a game with myself. It's either retardation or rage baiting. And in this guy's case, it seems like it's actually retardation. Like the guy actually does no research whatsoever. So this Twitter account posted a video of an altercation between a couple police officers and a group of wedding goers, and decided to say that we should privatize the police, as if that would actually help anything when it comes to police brutality or anything like that. But that's what this guy has to say. Now in the clip, it's a very viral clip. It shows a group of wedding goers getting into an altercation with the cops, and towards the end of the clip, one of the cops end up socking one of the girls, and she ended up like falling over and banging her head on the ground there. And that's pretty much the clip. Right? And with zero context, it obviously doesn't look that great. But luckily, we have multiple angles of the situation, and we actually have some background to what happened. So essentially, the start of what happened was security staff told police that a man identified as David Onick refused to leave and shoved an employee after being denied entry to the restaurant. It later turned into what prosecutors called a violent assault that left an officer with a broken nose, concussion, and several broken ribs. It turned into a whole thing. So police cam showing up to this situation is they actually detained David because he was being very disorderly and very aggressive with how he was talking.
Do anything, sir.
Put your hands behind your back. Relax your arm.
They're relaxed.
Relax your arm.
Anything, man. I didn't do
And
anything.
leave your hand right there and stop pulling in front of you. You understand me? Right now you're detained.
Sir, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything, sir. I did not do anything.
Yeah, because they call us here just because.
And by the way, detaining doesn't mean arrest. They're pretty much just putting him in handcuffs for precautionary reasons. Like he's obviously very drunk and is already being investigated, and he's yapping his mouth. So when they did that, obviously it got a little bit more aggressive. People started approaching, and this one girl, I'm assuming it was his wife, got pretty close to him. And then the one cop actually told her to back away, right? He was gonna put her in cuffs too. And she, according to the cop, fell backwards on her own on the uneven pier.
Hey! Whoa!
And that caused all hell to break loose. One guy ended up attacking the cops. They tried to arrest him. And during this time, one of the other girls ended up kicking him in the nuts, which led to the whole entire altercation. But the main reason why people are upset about this clip is because of the final time when the girl gets socked in the head, right? The other girl, I understand why the cops were like punching her. Like she was fucking kicking them in the nuts, right? Use of force. You don't just go around kicking cops in the nuts. Actually, you don't go around kicking anyone in the nuts. So, that cop kind of giving her a smack in the face was kind of justified in my personal opinion. She kept like kicking him in the nuts. I don't know what this girl's obsession was with that particular cop's nuts, but she kept kicking him, right? But the huge issue was the final scene, right? And people are saying it's unjustifiable, like it was use of force was too much. The cop should lose his job. According to this guy, he thinks the cop should lose his job. He thinks it should be privatized. But thank God we actually have multiple angles. And during one of the angles, or both, you can see the girl that got punched by the cop who ended up hitting her head was avidly trying to grab the cop's gun. I mean, it's pretty clear she's got her hand on his hip. Luckily, she wasn't able to actually pull the gun out, and the cop was able to, get his hand on his holster and, get the threat away from him, right? And, some people call that aggressive or police brutality. When you really break down use of force, it really depends on the department of the police. But it usually comes down to a standard of the amount of force that a police officer needs to use to make himself either in a situation where, he can't be attacked, or, to I wouldn't say neutralize the threat, but to at least, put the threat down kind of, right? And so if you have a big bulky dude attacking a bunch of cops and they decide to use a taser on him, that's probably fair enough, right? But if you have a tiny little tweaker girl who's like 80 pounds, you know, and a cop ends up throwing her 6 blocks to like get her on the ground, that's probably excessive. But when you have a situation where someone is avidly trying to pull a gun out of your holster, that is immediately a death threat, basically, right? You're dealing with death, right? So in that case, he pretty much had every right. Like if the cops decide to turn around and he shouted, "Hey, she's trying to grab my gun," and they end up shooting her, that, in my personal opinion, is completely fine, right? Like, why are you trying to grab a cop's gun, right? And they end up all pleading like not guilty. I mean, they all got charged basically with like violent assault charges, you know, disorderly conduct, everything like that. And, you know, it's just crazy how people just blatantly spread misinformation, even after being corrected. You know, someone actually corrected this dude in the Twitter thread, and he's like, "Oh, don't you clearly see the footage? She wasn't trying to grab the gun." And they literally posted the picture or the video of like the other angles, and he still just ignored it. You know what I mean? Like, there's tons of videos of police brutality out there, right? Tons of videos. Why not use one of those to try to make your statement? But instead you use an actual situation where the police were right. You know what I mean? It's absolutely crazy. And I'm not like a bootlicker. That was like the whole thing when it comes to this stuff. I actually criticize cops just as much as I praise them. I think cops, it's really important to train cops properly. I think their jobs are really important, and it's good that, you know, it's good for them to actually know what they're doing and the law, and to have anger management, because, you know, there's too many hothead cops out there. So this isn't a bootlicking situation. You know, if you show me an abuse video where the cops are blatantly abusing someone or not doing proper police procedures, I would agree with you. But in this case, the cops did nothing wrong, right? Like the chick was trying to grab his gun, right? She's lucky she's alive. So that's all I really want to talk about. If you guys like this video, leave a like, subscribe. As always, guys, I'll see you in the next YouTube video.
I'm walking lonely, got no homies, feeling like a ghost. She don't feel me anymore, she says I'm never home. I got no lights on, I'm slumped in my chair.